Well, hello Dirtfish Rally friends, and welcome to our end of day one review from the Acropolis Rally. Luke, Barry, wow, what a day we have seen out there. Really quite incredible. 6 stages today, 135 kilometres. Every single one of those stages gave us drama.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, they all talked about it before the rally. We talked about it before the rally, expecting it to be one of the most demanding Acropolises ever, and I think it's already lived up to that reputation. So many guys in trouble.
Yeah. Let's talk first then about certainly who was my pre-event favourite, Sébastien Ogier. He proved really why we were talking about him in such glowing terms. Even although he was second on the road, he had a fabulous morning. It all went wrong though, Luke, in the afternoon. Luke go through the opening stage of the afternoon.
Yep.
Second stage of the afternoon, goodness me, it fell apart. Talk to us about what happened there.
Yeah, it's a shame because he had, as you said, started the day so well, leading from second on the road. A great tyre choice, I think it's fair to say as well, with 3 softs and 3 hards, where most went with either full hards or just 4 hards and 2 softs, sorry. But yeah, a terrible problem for Ogier on the penultimate stage. It ended up costing him about 2.5 minutes with the last stage just completely down on power. So yeah, not the day he was looking for. He was in quite a punchy mood in the media zone as well.
It's always tough to take some mechanical issue like this on the turbo. It's very rare failure, and to have 2 on the same team today was very unusual, and obviously for us, it made a big stop to what was looking so far to be a perfect day with a great speed from second on the road. Took him 45 seconds to the championship leader, so maybe he should learn to open the road because he's not really fast from first on the road. He just cries all the time. So let's try to put pressure on him. I'm sure we can still do things.
Sébastien Ogier said something not so kind about your lead driver Thierry Neuville, suggesting that he's maybe not fast enough and is crying too much at being first on the road. What do you make of that?
I'm just looking at the classification. Just look at the classification. Just look at FIA Gala in December, and we'll see then who's the first.
Do you know what? I actually had the temerity according to Seb a couple of rallies ago, of suggesting that he's a bit of a master at playing mind games. What was that if it wasn't mind games, Luke?
I know, and we know it because we heard him doing other interviews. He said that line to everyone. It wasn't an accident. We didn't ask him anything about it. He said it, so it's jolly well interesting, isn't it? For a driver who didn't want to be in this Drivers' Championship fight and tells us he's not that bothered, that felt like a very clear message to me. And it's worth considering that Thierry Neuville is not psychologically weak at all, but if there's any driver that can get into his head, it is Ogier, just because of the aura he has and the fact obviously he's been a big rival in the past. He's one of the drivers Neuville has never beaten across a full season, so having Ogier here, as much as he'd never tell us, it must be playing on his mind just that little bit more.
See, you're not good enough first on the road, you're not good enough this week. What about, Luke, our other casualties of this afternoon's stages? Adrien Fourmeau, wonderful morning. Second as he left here from the lunchtime service, and it all went wrong for him this afternoon.
Yeah, there was a bit of drama in service as well, wasn't there? We had a bit of gearbox change. We clocked Malcolm, pulling him right away actually from our interview, and we wondered what it was, but you went and found out what the issue was. But it just got worse for him as he headed out on to the stage. It's just a rock, and I've not seen enough replays of it, I'll be honest, to confidently say whether he's really made a big misjudgment or not, but it looks like it was down to him rather than something just breaking. Snapped a steering arm, and that was his day done.
And it does mean, at the end of the day, it is a Hyundai 1-2-3 with Ott Tänak leading, the returning Ott Tänak. Question marks A, over his physical fitness before the start of the event. He dispelled those quite rapidly, said no, we're fine. B, maybe over his mental fitness. How quickly could he get back on it again? Well, he's shown today that there were no concerns through there. Concerns there were unfounded.
Yep. I think it's actually been a very, very impressive day from Ott, and he's a driver that we always, I guess, associate with these really fast rallies and being one of the quickest guys when the corner speeds are the highest, but he has got a reputation of being very, very good in these tricky events as well. He probably should have won this rally 2 years ago after those famous team orders. He did win Sardinia this year. He's won Sardinia plenty of times in the past as well, so it is a good skill of Ott to be able to kind of Colin McRae-esque actually, very fast but also very good at looking after the car, and credit to Hyundai as well, because what's been a difficult day for Toyota mechanically is, well, they've had no real issues at all, apart from a small niggle for Thierry, which did get fixed. So yeah, it's been a good day for them.
It was definitely demanding. Greece is always demanding, and with the temperature and roughness mixed together, it's harder. But until Seb was driving, then obviously we were still trying to push and find a better balance in the cars. So this afternoon the first stage was still not so good, but for the second one we managed to improve still a bit, and there the balance was already a bit better. But yeah, then Seb got hit with the issue, so the last one we just had to finish.
Yeah, fantastic stuff from Oyt Tanak out there today. Set himself up nicely for tomorrow's very, very demanding stages. But in second place at the end of day one, it's everyone's favourite Spanish driver. He's done a fantastic job again. Mr. Dependable, Stanis Sordo.
Yeah, it was hard. Every year they are really hard. And honestly, it's hot. In the stages they were quite nice. Not really like we expected in the recce. They were nice to drive, nice stages. I really enjoyed today.
You had a hybrid problem with the car. Is that something you've had all afternoon?
Yeah, all the 3 stages with no hybrid. So it was at least more fun with no hybrid and manage the power and this and that. Like this is like all time. It's much better, Throttle, brake and gas.
Is that something you need to look at in the future then, maybe removing hybrid from WRC is more fun for you?
For sure, because this sometimes it's working, sometimes it's not. I don't know. It's not my decision, but of course it's nice. And then you can see in some places it's same to don't have hybrid, but to drive is much more fun and natural. I need to come with the throttle to manage a little bit with the gas, not with the hybrid. If now it's charging, now it's not. Now it's coming the power and all. A little bit weird.
Third place at the end of the day. Yes, he might be, 45, 50 seconds off the lead. But Thierry Neuville, third at the end of the day, having opened the roads, he's got to be pleased with that, surely.
Yeah, at the end, if you look purely the result, it is a good day. I mean, we clearly had a different approach for all the weekend, and we still need to follow that approach throughout tomorrow and the upcoming days. However, we saw that some guys went really hard already this morning. I was struggling a bit to go harder and just followed my feelings. I knew that the cleaning effect was quite big, and we probably could have been a bit faster in some sections, but at the end, with the problems we had and knowing that it's a long rally, I prefer to stay on our speed.
The road section on the stage out this afternoon, did you hit something? What happened to the rear of the car?
I missed the corner, so I just touched a bit the barrier.
Well, I tell you what, there's been plenty to talk about here today, hasn't there? We've talked about the dramas that beset our top runners, but look, there were one or two others who had issues out there today.
There were indeed, and I think the one that I feel maybe most sorry for in a way is Gregoire Munster, because it's such an up and down afternoon.
Yeah.
Had the high of a top 3 stage time, which is a brilliant achievement for him. It's something he's aiming to do on these last 4 rallies, to show a bit more pace. But a recurring handbrake problem from the morning returned in the afternoon, and that made things difficult and essentially led to him having 2 punctures on the car with the way he had to drive and everything. So yeah, really disastrous final stage with Gregoire. Of course, this morning as well we had Elfyn Evans with a similar turbo problem to Ogier, so that's got to be a concern for Toyota. And of course Takamoto Katsuta, who was, I think, crestfallen, and it's a bit worrying though, isn't it? It's
enormously worrying. It's not, because Jari-Matti Latvala signposted it. Yes, he listens to us. Yes, he'll do what we asked him to do, unless he finds himself close to the front, and then he does his own thing. Where was he when he went off?
Second, I think.
Second when he went off. It is a huge concern for Toyota. I mean, I'm going to use George Donaldson's favourite words. It's been a catastrophic day for Toyota out there. Well, listen, in WRC2, we were all watching our championship protagonists, Pyrie and Rossell, expecting them to be battling at the front. But at the end of the day, who is it that leads?
Robert Vervez.
Great day out there in WRC2 from Robert Vervez. Well, you might notice that we've had a quick substitution. This man, how many of you recognise him? Well, I guess lots of our North American friends, anyone that's been to Dirtfish Rally School might recognise Sam Albert. He is the man who brought the world the car they didn't know they wanted, they didn't know they desired, they didn't know they needed, the Subaru Ferrari. That is your responsibility, your creation, your baby, Sam.
That is my brainchild, for sure.
Oh, just a quick word on how that came about.
Well, idle hands is the devil's playground, right? So I had a little bit of free time exploring the rule book. Just found that there's this kind of subset in the open class where you can have a naturally aspirated 4.5 liter and below, whatever you wanted, run it restriction free. And I was like, I know there's some hot motors out there. So quickly went down the path of Ferrari, Porsche, kind of things like that. I was like, the flat plane crank has to be there. It's got to sound amazing. So settled in on that Ferrari V8. And about a year later, showed up at Oregon Trailer in Olympus. So.
It's a magnificent beast. I'm sure you've just seen a few shots of it underneath Sam there, but if you want to see more, there's plenty of the wonderful Subaru Ferrari. Have a little point up there, Sam. Point. That's exactly where you can go to see a lot more footage of Sam's wonderful creation. Listen, Sam, I mentioned you're a dirtfish instructor. You're also quite clearly a massive rally fan. What are you doing here in Greece this weekend?
Well, you know, it's been a very long time since I've taken a vacation, and Krista would be the first one to tell you that. So. To really get me out the door, we decided that we combine a little trip to Greece, spend a little bit of time down on the islands, and then come up here for the WRC event. So, you know, a couple days later, off in the islands, here we are enjoying the event.
Magic. And you've had a day out spectating today. What did you make of the action out in the stages?
It was absolutely fantastic, and exactly what I kind of really envisioned, especially with, you know, around here at Acropolis. The stages were rough. You could tell the cars just looked like they were getting beat. They were, you know, really struggling to keep grip out there. But it was just fantastic, just watching the full field. You know, within the ARA we have, you know, a couple of factory drivers, and then we have a bunch of privateers that had the full spectrum of a properly built car to something that, you know, they threw together with their friends in the garage. So it was really interesting to see the depth of field, especially with the Rally 2 cars. You know, they're from start to finish, we just watched so many of the cars that looked like they were just sending it out there and just throwing it into corners and pushing. But it's really interesting to see the stage times because there's a big difference still, but it looks like they are pushing those cars so hard.
We've seen a great performance out there this weekend, or today certainly, from the Hyundai team. With the conditions that you saw out there, did it surprise you to see, you know, one team actually preparing a car that was strong enough to withstand those conditions? All the other teams have had issues. Hyundai haven't. Was it a bit of a surprise to you at all?
Indeed it was, because I really just kind of pictured this as an event where you can't really back off, you can't hold back, because somebody's going to push and they're going to get lucky and they're going to be the one that's going to take the win. That would have been my approach to it, because I know if I just would have backed off, I know somebody's going to get that extra few seconds on me here and there. But to see a whole team really kind of emerge together is really testament to the build of those Hyundais for sure.
They're very strong cars, aren't they? Has been a great day for Hyundai. A tough day out there tomorrow. Some great stages. You'll have a lot of fun on those stages tomorrow,
Absolutely.
Sam. It's been wonderful to see you, Sam. When do we next see the Subaru Ferrari competing?
For sure we'll be at Big White. That'll be the final event for the North American Rally Cup this year. Good chance that we'll make it out to one of the regional events in the Pacific Northwest before the end of the year.
Folks, what an opening day it's been here at the Acropolis Rally. So much drama, so many stories, so much wonderful action out in the stages. Hyundai have dominated today. Will they dominate tomorrow? You'll have to wait and see. Dirtfish.com for all the news as it unfolds. Make sure you're following us on all our socials. I am going home for a little lie down. All too much for me. Too hot, too dusty, too much action, too much drama. Folks, we'll see you tomorrow.
You're arriving close to Elvin Evans, only 8/10 off the pace.
Dude, I almost had it. Anyway.
What are you smiling about? Dude, I almost had you.
Racing and also with that team Prince Sport.